in life, many decisions that I've made have been mistakes, have been non-realistic, impractical. But you need to do your mistakes. It's important. You cannot like make music for numbers, because that's not how it works. It's always about what a person felt, and you cannot put a number to it. How these singers from these shows don't make it. I really do want to say they have made it. For someone who comes from a place where probably didn't have a future or didn't even have a plan, cut to having a career where you are recording, where you are performing in front of people, you have fans, you are an artist that people look forward to, people who know you, who love you. I think that's also called making it in life right now.
I think even with the pronunciation of words in songs nowadays, I think people try and intentionally sing with a Western accent, and they're pronouncing.
So there's a huge hypocrisy कि कोई अगर इंग्लिश में गा रहा है और नहीं गा पा रहा है तो उसका बड़ा मजाक उड़ाते हैं. बट अगर कोई हिंदी में अगर उसको ठीक से नहीं गा रहा तो उसका मजाक नहीं उड़ता है. आप कहते हो नहीं, ये बड़ा स्टाइलाइज्ड है, ये बड़ा कूल सा लगता है. I don't think that is true. That's not right.
Hey, hi, and welcome to our podcast. In today's conversation, we spoke to the immensely talented Shilpa Rao. Shilpa ji has sung many chart-topping numbers, from Tose, Naina, Lage to Malang to Ghungroo to Khuda, Jaane. She has won a Filmfare Award, a Screen Award, and an IIFA Award for Best Female Playback Singer, and she has even gone on to win a Grammy nomination for her collaboration with Anoushka Shankar on the album Love Letters for the Best Global Music Album category. If you're somebody who's a fan of Shilpa ji, if you're somebody who wants to better understand Bollywood music and the Bollywood music industry, then you don't want to miss on this conversation. Without further ado, let's start the podcast.
Hi Shilpa ji, welcome to the Flipside Podcast. Firstly, congratulations. You've had such an amazing year with Besharam and Tere Hawale. We are so happy to have you with us today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure.
So Shilpa ji, to kick things off today, we actually wanted to share a short video clip that we come across. And both Karan and I felt it's a really beautiful encapsulation of how far you've come in your journey. So I won't tell you anything. I'll share the video and then maybe I'd like to talk about it for a moment.
Okay.
Shilpa ji, we're sharing this is
oh God.
This you at Loyola, Jamshedpur school which you had attended, and to me it was really powerful because from someone who, from what we understand, you weren't that fond of school because it demanded that conformity. Being somebody who was, laid back, you weren't particularly the most ambitious person, and also you felt at times invisible in class. From there to come to a place where you were on stage in front of others, receiving so much love, so much appreciation for that thing that makes you unique. And also after having achieved a dream which even the most ambitious people are sometimes not able to reach. I was just curious, what was the emotional significance of a moment like this for you, and what does it make you reflect about your journey so far?
I don't think I was reflecting or something. I think it was more of I think it's very overwhelming to find people connecting with each other who've never met or don't know each other, and I think that's what art does. It makes someone very close to you, even if that person's a stranger, and you seem to know them way more intimately without even knowing them or meeting them. I think that's what it does. So I think that's what was very overwhelming about that moment. I think like these children were there who actually don't know me. They've never met me, but then that love is there, and I think it's very inspiring.
Yeah, certainly. This kind of love can really get overwhelming sometimes, and I can understand your reaction, especially when you're in your own school. But as a fellow singer, Shilpa ji, I was quite curious about knowing your recording process as a singer. And I know that we need to get into the emotional character of the song. And sometimes we need to record a happy song, and in our personal life we are really upset, or vice versa, where you have to record a sad song, but you're really happy. You just chatted with someone for an hour, and now you're doing a sad song. So has that been a struggle for you? And are there certain memories that you tap into to get into a certain emotional state?
I don't think that's quite necessary for you to go through something to be able to do something. I mean, like, I don't think that's how it works. But that's where the brilliance is, that the power of fiction, that when you see something and you see someone going through something, and you still feel for that person. You don't know that person, you don't know that situation, but then out of your empathy and that connection with another human being, you feel through that person's journey and whatever that person's going through. And I think that's what you should be able to do. And that's the power of fiction in our lives, and that's why we're exposed to a lot of movies or books or personal accounts of people that when someone is narrating it to you, and you actually feel for that person. So I think draw from that.
There's almost like a transmission or a sawal jawab happening at a different wavelength, like from what you're saying with this one and the last one, where it's at the level of emotion, so it's beyond your personal experiences or the particulars of your life. It's a communication on a different wavelength.
There is communication beyond talking, and I think those are very, very high ways of connecting with people, where you're connecting with, we're communicating with a lot of other tools. Sometimes someone's singing. I mean, probably that person's not using any words; it's just syllables, and there's so much feeling in the voice that you're communicating way more than maybe a book.
Even when we listen to, like, for example, like, I don't speak Tamil, but when I hear Tamil songs, they hit really hard. So that's the power of music.
When all languages fail, this works. Art will always work.
Absolutely.
Across all boundaries.
Shilpa, you've been in the industry for really long now, and I had a question from the point of view of someone who's trying to break into Bollywood right now. And from what I know, I understand that labels sign on artists, and then those artists are pushed and their songs are marketed more because later they get a percentage of their live shows. Is that the case? And for someone who's just starting out, what would you suggest should be the path for them to get into Bollywood?
There's no one way to do this. I don't feel that that's the only one way to do this. I feel if you have something that if you have your own voice, and I mean vocally as well as thematically, if you have your own voice where you are expressing yourself, I think what we're looking for is feeling. And if you have that, I think it will not be much of a problem for you to sing, whether you know someone, you don't know someone, whether you're being backed or not. But if you have something that speaks from your voice, which really connects with people, I think that's more than enough. I think.
And I think the landscape's also changed quite a bit, because earlier the requirement was of a typical stereotypical voice for females, and now it's changed, and now a unique voice is actually
it's
a
not
US
changed
thing.
Actually.
It's not?
If you go a few years, if you rewind back in the past, I think females have had their own voices. Like, I'm talking about the 1930s or the 40s, where you had Ella Fitzgerald, you had Edith Piaf, you had
That's true.
Surinder Kaur ji, you had M.S. Subbulakshmi ji, you had Begum Akhtar ji, you had Prabhat Ray ji. All of these singers from all different parts of the world singing like their own selves. So I think that always existed.
I was mainly referring to the era of Lataji, and after that, I think it stuck to a very thin kind of voice. And then now, later on, with I think Sunidhi Chauhan and singers like you, I think it's changing. And then
Sunidhi is such a page turner. I think
absolutely,
she's someone that I always meet her and hug her and tell her that we are all here because.
I'm
always say that.
She's
always say that.
Amazing.
Yeah. And in fact, this theme of change of landscape reminds me of another thing, which is that. And I think, Karan, I don't want to speak on both our behalf, but I think we both agree that we have some apprehensions about the impact that social media has had on the landscape of music. And you've articulated some of these yourself also, Shilpa. You were mentioning, I remember in one interview, how this kind of instant fame, now that comes with social media, the 2-minute Maggie fame, it's leading people to focus more on reach, how many people my music is reaching, as opposed to the ups and downs of finding your own voice. And another thing that's happened is promotion has become as important almost as the music itself sometimes. And artists are spending as much time promoting and marketing on social media as much as maybe they're making music. And I was curious, do you think this is the case? And if yes, how do you reconcile with it? Because as kind of an introverted person myself, it sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like something I want to completely avoid.
Well, it is something that I think we all are, there's so much of changes in format that's happening in the past, 30 years, and it's been quite a jump. Because there was a nice longish period where people were performing live and people were recording LPs, and we were having like real time recordings of symphonies and Bada Khayal and Vilambit and Chota Khayal and all of that. And we had all of that. And even now, when we perform, we are on stage for 2 hours straight, sometimes more than that. And it's one of those very few real things that still exist. But you cannot totally turn yourself away from the fact that social media exists. It's there. It's taken me a lot of time to realize that myself. But yeah, I mean, looking forward in the future, if this doesn't, I mean, if the social media one day just is over and there's no more Instagram or Facebook or whatever, will you stop doing music? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
But on the flip side, actually, the social media has actually given a huge boost to the indie music scene. And now artists don't really need Bollywood to make a name. I think we're seeing independent artists blow up even through social media. In a way, that's the upside of it as well.
Yeah, cutting off the middleman sometimes.
There's always a good side and a bad side to everything. Everything cannot be all good or all bad. But yes, we have to see this as a way to connect with people, but it cannot be dictating you. You cannot like make music for numbers, because that's not how it works. It's always about what a person felt, and you cannot put a number to it. So,
Exactly. And I think there's also, I think hustling is important at certain points, but I think for art to come through you, really, you need those moments of silence. You also, I remember mentioned in that video, the concept of dolce far niente, just an ease of life, a relaxed life. And I think it's social media has taken that away sometimes from people. You're so on all the time, and for some people, performing all the time, that the empty moments of silence which actually allow music or art to come through you, वो क्या बोलते हैं, आपका एंटेना पकड़ नहीं पाता है, I feel.
No, it's like I said, it's quite a big discussion where, how do you optimize anything, or what is more important, what is not. I think in life, many decisions that I've made have been mistakes, have been non-realistic, impractical, but you need to do your mistakes. It's important to do them.
They teach you the best lessons.
We're touching on social media. I think another thing, because you mentioned the last 20-30 years there have been changes. Another change, and you, I think, being a high-profile music artist, will be aware of this, is the phenomenon, if I can call it, of the reality show, how they operate and stuff like that. And in fact, you previously worked on them as well. And they are entertaining as a spectator, no doubt. But I'm curious, from the other side, actually being part of their creation, what's been your experience like working on them? And also, I guess, when you're working on them, to what extent are things allowed to organically unfold, and to what extent are they sort of, tampered with or contrived?
Well, many people ask me this question, like, how these singers from these shows don't make it. I really do want to say they have made it. For someone who comes from a place where probably didn't have a future or didn't even have a plan, cut to having a career where you are recording, where you are performing in front of people, you have fans, you are an artist that people look forward to, people who know you, who love you. I think that's also called making it in life.
Yeah.
The difference is that everyone makes it in their lives in different ways. Everyone's boat is not the same. So please don't take this away from them. They've worked hard. They've come a long way. They really put in a lot of effort. When you see them, going through those 3 or 6 months of singing and practicing and coming up with newer stuff every single day, it's a lot of work. So for what work they've done and whatever they've achieved in their lives, they have done a lot of work. So you cannot discredit that. No, please. I feel that that's a little unfair to them that they've not made it. Of course they have made it. They've made it in a different way. Might not be the same credentials as what you want, but then they have made it. Yes. So that's something which I believe every artist has their own journey. So you can't point out and say that no, this is not it. No, you can't do that.
I think it's definitely it opens doors for live shows for them, which otherwise wouldn't have happened. So
even the singles that they made, that too, if you see a year back, they weren't doing that, but they're still doing it now. Even if it's that one single that a few people have heard, but some people have liked it on their own account, on their own will. I think it's very important. You cannot discredit that.
It's a good platform.
It's important to give them that stature and say that yes, they have done something in life. I don't think that you shouldn't discredit that.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
We wanted to move to a slightly more fun segment now, and like I said, Besharam Rang is an amazing song that you've done, and Jen and I both have been a fan of how you modulate your voice and you change your texture based on the mood of the song. And we had a small request/challenge for you if you're up for it, where we wanted you to sing Besharam Rang for us, just a few lines, but we'd give you 3 different moods, and I think that would help the audience also see how you modulate.
I'm the worst person to do these things.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is that I there's this one way I can express myself, but that takes a long time to get there.
The making of I get that.
Yeah. So
maybe could you just take us through then how you built the texture for Besharam Rang in particular? Like
it took time. I mean, I'm very fortunate that Vishal Shekhar, Siddharth, they were very what do you call it? We literally had just a loop of a rhythm section that was going on, and we actually sat down, picked the right pitch, picked the right tempo where the mukhra makes sense with the words, with the tune, and we spent a whole day just doing that. So I think that was all the effort that went into making it, and I feel I was given entire space to do that and express myself the way I wanted to. So I think that was a great day when we actually first got in the studio and worked on this.
Definitely, I think good things take time, and I'm glad that you got.
It takes time. It takes time.
Quality work takes time. Shilpa ji, we wanted to do a short rapid fire kind of segment. It's called Quick.
Yeah. Why not?
And I think we'll just start with that. So the first one for you. We believe that you're a shagird of Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Sahab. What's one lesson from him that's always stayed with you?
There's a lot of patience that I learned from him, because I used to sit and he used to make me do riyaz, which for me, of course, I'm doing riyaz, but he was sitting with me every single session, and it's not easy to sit through a 13-year-old trying to get something right. And most of it is not in pitch, not perfect. It's not even close to it. And a person who's so good at what he does, where I don't think he even listens to anything which is not up to mark.
Yeah.
and to sit with someone to get it right. I think it's a lot of patience. And he was, I think, touching an 80. I was 13 years old. I think it was such a big gap in so many levels, and he still sat down and worked with me from scratch. I think you need a lot of patience. You need to believe in the process. I think that's what it is, and that's what I learned from him. You have to you have to have that faith in that process, that from today to tomorrow to the next day to the next week to the next month, there will be something that I'll do better. But you have to have that belief, and you can't even let it go for even a day. So
Yeah.
A lot of patience and a lot of humility on his part.
Yeah. And tenacity on your end also when it comes to sticking to that. Day in, day
I know
out.
that I knew that I have to do this because I need to sing well, but he was sitting through it to make sure I do this. It's actually a bigger responsibility on the Ustad.
Yes.
When you commit to taking a student, I think it's a bigger
responsibility for sure.
Responsibility on Ustad. It's not an easy job.
We mentioned Shekhar ji a bit earlier when talking about Besharam, and one unexpected commonality that we found you have with him is a love for or a jugalbandi of bad jokes that you share. I hope we're not putting you in a spot, but would you mind sharing any one bad joke that's your favorite that comes to mind?
Oh, this one is their favorite. I think Vishal Shekhar both. Like, how do you send a rose to the moon?
Oh.
Gulab jamun.
This
is their favorite. Actually, you should mention it to them. Yeah. So we both keep doing things time to time.
Yeah, I'm sure you need it in that to create that, to cut the tension sometimes. Yeah. So
it's a lot of heavy mental processes going on. So
I can imagine. Yeah. So we kind of touched on this idea already, Shilpa. Music, of course, is it a competition? You don't want to where you are versus where me are. But you're the only Indian artist to have performed for Coke Studio Pakistan, and it's a show which a lot of people prefer to its Indian counterpart. I'm curious, having performed at the show, what is one thing in your mind that makes the Pakistani version of it special, or what is one reason you think people may prefer it over the Indian counterpart?
I think with one thing, they really are very proud in owning their music. In fact, their music, our music is not too far away from each other.
Yeah.
We come from a subcontinent where our music is so similar to each other.
Absolutely.
And it's almost, like as if it's intertwined in our daily life. Like works from Mirza Ghalib or Amir Khusro or Bulle Shah. It's something that we have grown up listening. I think one of the oldest songs that people sing even today is Sharp Tilak, written in 12th century, and these people still sing it.
Exactly.
So it's ingrained in both our cultures. The only thing is that they own it proudly and they've put it front stage. We still need to do that. I think our Indian youth first needs to realize that this is my music. I've heard youngsters listen to this and say, "Oh, it's so exotic." This is not exotic. This is your music, which you have inherited just by the sheer fact that you were born in such a glorious country.
Absolutely.
And you've gotten all of this, the legacy, all so easily. The only thing you have to do is first own it with a lot of pride. Then will come the whole point of listening to it, then learning from it, and then performing it. So we really need to get there. Our youth needs to get there. I think that's the only difference that we have right now.
I think even with the pronunciation of words in songs nowadays, I think people try and intentionally sing with a Western accent, and they're pronouncing.
So there's a huge hypocrisy कि कोई अगर इंग्लिश में गा रहा है और नहीं गा पा रहा है तो उसका बड़ा मजाक उड़ाते हैं. But अगर कोई हिंदी में अगर उसको ठीक से नहीं गा रहा तो उसका मजाक नहीं उड़ता है. आप कहते हो नहीं ये बड़ा स्टाइलाइज्ड है, ये बड़ा cool सा लगता है. I don't think that is true. That's not right. Any language has to be given that attention, and you need to pronounce it well. You need to make an
Yeah.
effort. You can't just
Yeah.
you can't ridicule someone for singing badly in English and then appreciate someone who's singing Hindi in a flawed English accent.
Yeah,
No, I
Absolutely.
don't think that's cool. I don't think so.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's a really, really astute observation. It's one that I haven't considered, but it's yeah. For the next question, Shilpaji, your song Hurwa Hurwa from Pani and Selvan. It's your third collaboration with Mr. A.R. Rahman. What we're curious about is through your various collaborations with him, what's one thing you would say that's been your biggest learning from him?
I think again, the commonality, patience.
Mm-hmm.
He is an extremely patient person. Someone who's he's also learned from Ghulam Sahab.
Yeah.
We both have learned from him. I think probably it comes from there.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but then he's that patience, that belief that people sit, make time for it, and you work hard, and the song becomes what it becomes. He has a lot of faith in people who he calls in for a recording. I think he has a lot of faith in that that person, and that's why there's that absolute freedom given to you when you're in the studio to do your thing. I think one of those very few people who absolutely doesn't even tell you what to do. Here's a song. Here's what you have to do. So I think that's I think one of the most conducive ways of working with someone.
I'd imagine from the artist's perspective also it would feel more like a collaboration then, and not just like I'm doing my job, but it would feel like, oh, I can put in my things, and it's more
not a job actually. It's I think we're on a holiday mode. Forever.
It's a pleasure.
It's like you just get out, you go into the studio, it's a vacation. Yeah.
But it's been such a pleasure having you, Shilpa ji. And
Thank
best
you.
of luck for your show on 21st. I believe you're performing in Mumbai. So best of luck for your show. And we've really enjoyed talking.
Please come if you guys are here. It's at RCT Mall, 21st May. Please come. It's an absolute pleasure to perform in Mumbai. So in your own hometown. It's great. Yeah, please come.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shilpa ji. Pleasure. Bye-bye.
To our audience, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed our conversation with Shilpa, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, share this video with your friends and family, give this a big thumbs up, and we'll see you very soon in another episode. Lots of love. Bye.